In this video training, you're going to discover how to find great ideas for niches using a couple strategies, techniques, websites, so that you can generate your list of ideas without really trying to rack your brain too hard about what you're going to focus in on. And the main thing that I want you to keep in mind in this training is that you want to focus in on a specific niche and a specific sub niche of that niche. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do that forever, but for this particular product, your first product at least, you want to focus in on something that is very, very specific. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. And for this example, I'm going to use one of my clients' website and walk you through how we go about from a very generic kind of message to getting a much more specific message that's going to attract some clients and detract other clients. And I'll show you exactly what that means here in a few minutes. So to start off with, let's look at the website that we're going to be using as an example for this. So her website is the Brooklyn Dating Guru. So if I click on this website here, and if we just look at it, it says attract your love. Okay, so I'll just write that down. Attract your love with yoga in real life practical way. With yoga in real life practical way. Now, if we look at that messaging and we ask ourselves, is that clear and specific as to the outcome that you're going to get from opting in here or learning from her, right? And the answer to that is no, right? It's no, because attract your love with yoga in real life practical way, it's not clear, it's not specific. So what we're going to do here is go step by step and try to see how we can get more specific. And the way to do that is to start off with what's already selling in the marketplace and try to identify what are the gaps in the market. So let's take a look at Amazon and see what are the best sellers in this particular category to start off with. So Amazon provides you a list of the top best sellers in all kinds of different categories. So for this category, we're going to talk about dating. So if we click the dating section here, okay, so we see the top book here is Why Men Love Bitches, Ignore the Guy, The Power of the Pussy, Get the Guy, Ignore the Guy, Get the Guy. So if we click on the reviews here, I'll make this a little bigger, and click on the 1-star, then we could start seeing what are the things that people are complaining about in this book. So there's two things we want to do. We want to see what are people really happy with, what are they really excited with, and what are they really not happy with. So to start off with, this book is about manipulation, right? So if we make a list here, not things they don't want, things they do want. So we could say they don't want manipulation. So I'll just go through these and read these, and I recommend that you go through the same process and spend a few hours, at least 1 hour to begin with, just going through negative reviews for the particular niche that you'd like to go through, and just jotting down things that people want and things that they don't want. So I'll just go through it live with you right here. Okay, so this book is about manipulation with emphasis on the man. It describes how women should be obnoxious to men as possible in order to get them. Lie, cheat, act totally obnoxious. My roommate, who's 21, had this as one of her 3 learning guides. She follows it to the T. She's a liar, a cheat, has no regard for anyone but herself, will walk on any man, and views men in general as a means to an end. So this is clearly written by a guy. So we don't really want to pay attention here because our target market is women, so we can ignore that. I should delete manipulation there. So next one is the positive of the book is to value yourself. But you do not but you do not need to be a bitch to do that. This book comes down to being a manual on game playing in relationships. So we could say like one of the things they don't want is without game playing in relationships, which never works. I'm a therapist. Relationships with men are the same as any other relationship. Be yourself, be honest, take your time, and get to know each other. So we want to write that down. So be yourself, be honest, take your time, and get to know each other. If you play these games, you'll probably lose out on real relationships with men. You don't need a book. Men and women have been getting together since the beginning of humankind. Let's see, couldn't even finish it. I bought this book a few years ago, and I couldn't even finish reading it. It made me so mad. What it showed me is to play head games with the man. So then we want to write down without, see, game playing. So without, without playing head games with the man. Sorry, but it ain't gonna sit and make men beg for me. There's nothing wrong with being a good-hearted girl. If you dealt with a man in the past, this is their problem, not yours. Bad man in the past. Okay, so let's look through, see. This is a great book for women who are looking to date and play games. It's all about trickily similar to men when they go on a date, all games. What kind of long-term relationship do you expect from a fake behavior which is not part of you? So then one thing we want to write down is a long-term relationship. Let's see here. First of all, there's no such thing as being too nice. You're either nice or you're not. I'm so sick and tired of men glorifying bitches as though there's some kind of valuable resource that no one could live with. My God, are they really that desperate? That's an insult to women's intelligence and to female gender. Let's see, okay. Read the book about a month ago. First chapter seemed okay, but I continued to read. I've noticed the cases of men the author mentioned are cases of women who were dealing with jerks. Why should someone insist on a jerk through mind games and manipulation? So you can see a trend here is that they don't want mind games and they don't want manipulation. So that's something that if we're to talk about attract love that you life in a practical way, what practical way might mean would be without mind games or manipulation. So that's one of the things that we could write down here is attract, get the guy without mind games or manipulation. Now, even that, it's closer than the first one, but we still have to explore it, right? So just keep going here. We want to find something that is coherently written. I understand the basic concept of not letting your man walk all over you or take you for granted, but it led me to play games with a guy who I met and I started to really like. At first, he responded to my behavior and chased me constantly. I had a mysterious element that made me irresistible, but eventually he slowly pushed me away and told me he felt that I didn't care about him. I was crushed because I cared for him so deeply. Unfortunately, this book teaches women to hide their emotions and play mind games. So right there, again, you start to see the pattern here. Right? Mind games is a thing that comes up, and without hiding their emotions. Why be with someone you can't be honest with, right? So they're looking for honesty. Be yourself, be honest. Why be with someone you can't be honest? Never again will I use this advice long term for snagging the men. It's good, but to keep him, no way. So this is interesting because this gives you an insight here, which is that there's different types of relationships here. So if Danielle is focusing in on a long-term relationship, then she needs to talk about that somewhere, right? So get the guy, just a long-term relationship. Get the guy without mind games or manipulation into a long-term relationship. Why be with someone you can't be honest with? Let's see. Don't try this in an establisher. The results are disastrous. Change yourself first before trying to mold others. See, this book has the worst advice I've ever heard and completely contradicts the idea that two people can communicate effectively. I've tried to scrum my mind of the residue of all the author's horrible advice, but one nasty piece comes to mind. Pretend you can't do anything physical around the house, then ooh and ah over how strong your husband is for. Okay, let's see. So that's the idea that you want to go through. So even just spending a few minutes here, we realized a couple of things, right? One, they want without playing mind games or head games or manipulating people. They want to be in a long-term relationship. They don't want to hide their emotions. And the things that they do want is to be themselves, be honest, take their time and get to know each other and be in a long-term relationship with the right guy. So even that few minutes gives some insights there as to what to say. So let me go back here to our mind map. And then once you go through the Amazon top seller list and note down a lot of the common threads that are negative and make that list of the things they do want, the things they don't want, then you can go into some other websites which will give you ideas for emails to send out or also headlines and subheads. So part of a website, or the most important part of a website really, is what it says at the top. So if we go back here to the Brooklyn Dating Guru, right? So what it says at the top here is attract your love with yoga in a real life practical way. And a strategy that you could use to get a much better, clearer, more specific headline is to follow what magazines do. So magazines spend a lot of time and money on coming up with the headlines for the cover of the magazines. So right here, there's a list of the top magazines. Pull this up here. The top magazines in the United States, broken down by category. So since we're targeting relationships, let's see. Here's a list of women's magazines. So what we want to think is, what would somebody who's interested in dating and being in a relationship, what kind of magazine would they read if they were a woman? So I'm just going to make a list of the magazines that they would read. Let's see, magazines. So definitely Cosmo. Maybe Oxygen. Pink. People. Red Book. So Self. Shape if they were into fitness. And so now what we could do is we could take for instance, Cosmo, and we can go through and see the covers of Cosmo magazine and see what the headlines were. So if we go to Google here and type in Cosmo magazine covers 2014 and click on images, we get to see all the different Cosmo issues for 2014. We can go back to any year. So let's take a look at through some of these. Behind the bedroom door. Look great. Look and feel great naked. Let's see. I refuse to get a nose job. Running for my life. When did guys get so freaking pervy? Holy shit, it's 52 sex moves. You're too intimidating. Genius ideas to recharge your work. So you can see that sex is a big part of what Cosmo sells here. Almost in every issue, the word sex appears. So obviously that word is working for them. And what we're looking for is something related to dating. So let's see if we can find something here. The one thing you must never do with a guy, page 102. So that's actually a very good idea for an email. The one thing you must never do with a guy. Girl, you deserve a vacay. Let's see, it's party time. How to tell if he's lying to you. So email number 2. How to tell if he is lying to you. And what you'll find is that these headlines or these subject lines for an email are going to be very effective because they put them on Cosmo magazine. So they've done all the hard work for you here. You could just piggyback on the work that they've done. Let's see, we'll keep going on here. Where are all the single men? We found them. Okay. So let's see what we can go on here. Get a brand new sex life. Seriously, the stuff's gonna rock your world and his. Relationships are a waste of time if you're not with the right person. Okay. Confessions of a male porn addict. That's actually a really good subject line for an email. Marriage, long distance love, and meeting the ex. That would also be a good email. The 2 most important words you'll ever say. That's an email. The most important words ever say. So you keep going through these and you come up with different email ideas for an opt-in autoresponder sequence that you could start coming up with to educate people on the value that you provide. Let's see, fantasy sex. Okay, so we can go on to the next magazine. So the next magazine was, let's see, Oxygen. So we can look up Oxygen magazine covers. Let's see, Vogue. It's also giving us other related, like, so this is another way to come up with other magazine ideas. So I searched for oxygen and it came up with Bazaar, Band-Aids, Health, Dolly, Inside, Red Book. So you can find out all the other magazines that somebody Shape, right? Fat Loss. So let's see if there's something related to relationships. So you can see on the fitness side, trim your waist, slim, firm, tone. These are the power words that are blast, that are important. Shed 2 sizes. So that's how you would start, is coming up with those email ideas, coming up with the things they want, things they don't want. I'm gonna show you some other ways to go about this as well. So we talked about Amazon, we talked about the bestsellers, we talked about how to use covers to come up. Covers you could also use to come up with a great domain name, because you'll find a lot of them rhyme and have a benefit in it. So you might come up with an excellent domain name just by scanning these covers and then seeing if the headlines that they use are available. So let's see. Let's see some magic phrases. So here's a actually yeah, let's go to Reddit and see what's popular there. Reddit relationships and advice for women. Let's see here. And what we want to look at is the top section. So these are the headlines that have got the most interest. He's 29, has spent a week bushwalking and camping with some guy friends. What is something sweet I can do for him when he gets back? My husband leaves everything to me all the time. I'm 17 with trust issues with every girl I finally become interested in. Okay, that's a male. So the problem here is, or the challenge here is that I think most of the people on Reddit are males. So, so there's not probably a lot of like what women are thinking. But another way that you could go about this is you could go to Google, you could type in URL forum and say relationship advice for women. And that's going to give you the forums that women are a part of for getting help. So here's one, not alone. Let's see. And if we click on most replied here, you can see which one was the most popular. First blowjob. How to give an orgasm during intercourse. Betrayed again. That's actually a really good idea for an email. She sent nude pictures of herself. Another good idea for an email. So you can see that the ones that have the most replies already have the headline for you, so you could just swipe it. So that's one way, is to search the forums. There's a forum on Facebook. And you can see that people responding here, right, are probably not in a relationship. Relationship advice forum. So Facebook has a forum as well, right? Its own forum. And so you could search people and just add them manually once you figured out that they're complaining about relationships if they're in your target market. So your action items for this training is to go through the Amazon, spend an hour or 30 minutes or whatever you have, and go through the top sellers in the niche that you'd like to target, come up with the things that people want and the things that they don't want. Let's say come up with 5 or 6 things they want, 5 or 6 things they don't want, and then go through and find the magazines in your niche and take some of the headlines and come up with 5 or 6 email subject lines that you could sequence into your autoresponder. And once you have those, post them up in the Facebook group so that we could talk about them. So that's your action item for this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Do that action right now.